Hi, this is Grace Pontock, and this is a Trailblazer interview. Today, we are speaking with Elizabeth Cooper. She is a coach, artist, guide, and queer performance artist. Elizabeth holds a vision with us of feeling alive and free in our bodies. She has a BA in anthropology, gender and sexuality studies, and performance from Princeton. And she's also studied coaching and yoga training at Kripalu, and she has explored her own personal journey with healing as well. So Elizabeth, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I also need to say that she's the founder of Queer Body Love, where will people find that online?
ElizabethJCooper.com, or if you Google Queer Body Love, it comes up.
So, like I say, thank you for joining us. And to begin, can you speak maybe a little bit towards what queerness means to you at the moment and kind of how you came to this work?
Ooh, big question. Awesome. Love it. And how I came to the work. I feel like queerness, just thinking about queerness lights my face up. I feel really excited about my own path and identification with it. And it's definitely what brought me to the particular intersection of what I work with people on, particularly around food and body image and healing our disconnection from our body, because my disconnection from my body came as a result of feeling alienated in my sexuality in high school. So I moved from Japan to Brazil right as I was kind of discovering that. At the time I was thinking gayness was what was most accessible to me. And I focused, because I felt not accepted and alienated, I focused on the things that society was telling me would help me feel better. So losing weight and being a good student, just performing like what I thought a good girl was. And this wasn't all logical. Like at the time, I didn't really understand what I was doing or the relationship of sexuality with also my coping mechanism for dealing with that disconnection. So that was the wound that led to the healing path that led to so much joy. And so now thinking about queerness, I just keep smiling. I'm like, it's a sexual orientation, but it also feels political, and it feels like it connects me with a lineage of people who have resisted and have focused on being in their bodies, being in community, being in pleasure when there's been huge risks. I have not had nearly as much risk as my ancestors, queer ancestors, transcestors, people who have come before, who have made it possible for me to be living out as a queer woman in San Francisco in a queer home. And I know that's not the case for everyone all over the world and in different places. And yeah, for me, it's about possibility, and it's about imagining new ways of being with our bodies and with ourselves and with each other that is creative and embodied and focuses on pleasure and consent. And there's so many values and principles that I've found from being in queer community that feel really alive and exciting to me, and I think can be an asset. We can choose resilience, and we can choose for like resistance and resilience. We can't control everything outside of ourselves. And of course, there's a lot of marginalization on our bodies, and particularly if you live at different intersections of oppression, then that impacts you differently. And we have a choice of how we relate to it. So I think for me, it feels really nourishing to think about the people who have fought and are fighting for bodily autonomy and living in our bodies and with each other in the way that we want to.
I love your answer, and I love how rich it is. There's so much there, and I feel that so much of it resonates with with my own experience and with a lot of my own my interests and where I'm working. I think I would imagine that many people listening or watching would resonate as I do with the experience of being othered in some way or being marginalized in some way, and then honing in on an aspect of ourselves which is acceptable, in inverted commas, which is seen as something which can fit in with a way in which can protect us from the loneliness and the struggle and the pain and the sometimes risk and violence that othering can cause.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love the approach of resistance and resilience. And so I'm really interested in these intersections between queerness, othering, disability, and your approach to body love and how that kind of sinks in, because often there's quite a lot of disconnects around that.
Totally. And I mean, I'm learning, and by putting it out there, when I started Queer Body Love 2.5 years ago, what I knew was that the world is messed up, and then I had been on a healing process, and then I really wanted to both like shake people to help them see the larger constructs, which were then being filtered through stories and actions in a way that people were harming themselves. But yes, there are those influences, and you have choice about how you relate to them, specifically around dieting, and that can really disconnect ourselves from ourselves and our bodies and is not based in fact. And you can read about health at every size for more of the science behind that. But that was really part of what I felt really passionate about, was fat liberation and fatness as not bad, not bad, lazy, all of the different attributes that culture puts on it. So that was the genesis of, for me, what had been helpful in my healing journey of reclaiming and my body from outside forces. And so I knew that I wanted to work with that, and I knew I wanted to work with queer people because I was like, those are my people. And I didn't know, I've been learning so much about disability, ability, and gender, because I am cisgendered, I'm not transgender, and I have opened, like I started working with queer women, and then I was like, well, like non-binary folks and trans folks, and like widen the scope of who I work with, and in that process and learn from the people that I interview for my speaker series, from my clients, et cetera. And so I'll point out one example of a place where I messed up and was coming from the like sheltered perspective of, okay, this is in my lived identity, this is how I'm approaching body love, and then how that's changed by being in community with trans folks particularly, was at the beginning of my business, maybe like 6 months in, I made this meme, and it was on Labor Day, which we have in the United States. And I said, what if we put all of the energy that we put into hating, into controlling our bodies, into trying to love them instead? And so it's a pretty typical like body positive message. Let's shift from controlling to loving. And to some extent, I still definitely believe that. I mean, queer body love, and the nuance that isn't captured, and where trans folks can feel othered in that experience, is that there is actually dysphoria. There is actually like, I do actually want to change something in my body to feel more in alignment with who I am. And that's real. And that's different from fat phobia and the way that fatness, and they intersect, and it can be challenging to parse out, like, is this dysphoria or is this fat phobia? But that they're actually separate, different things. So learning from people and learning, okay, yeah, everybody's journey is different. Like, I think number one, that's the most important thing I want to say about body love, is that who you are in your lived experience in your body, you are the expert of that. I'm not the expert of that. Nobody else is the expert of that. And you can get advice and opinions, etc. But ultimately it's your choice. And I think that that's really the point that I've come to in the last couple of years, or where I'm at right now, is that it's about agency and choice. It's about knowing, okay, these are the ways that I'm thinking about myself. Then from those stories that I tell myself come the thoughts, come the actions, come my life and the way that I feel. And that at any point in that path of how we're creating our reality, we can interrupt it and we can shift it, and we get to choose how we want to do that. Nobody else gets to choose that. So I think that that's kind of the queerness part, is resistance and choice and autonomy in how you want to relate to your body, and knowing that we can't control everything. So when I was in high school, I was really struggling, and I really loved Indie, who's a musician, artist. I listened to her album again and again and again. And one of the lyrics was the Serenity Prayer. God grant me, wrote this down so that I would remember it correctly. The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So there's always things from outside of ourselves that we won't be able to change, and there are things that we can change. So getting clear on what those are and knowing that you are not completely victim to your circumstances, and yes, things outside of you will affect you. And there has to be some room for that as well. And I don't know as much about disability, but I imagine that like there are similar themes in there as well. I'm curious if you have thoughts on that.
Yes, definitely. I think it's very, very strong, the ways in which the outside impact us and the ways in which the invisible systems which are all around us impact us.
Yeah.
I guess I put a little bit of a question mark over we get to choose our thoughts and how we think about it, because I guess that hasn't always been my experience, and in working with people that they can choose their thoughts, because maybe people have variations on mental illness, maybe they have anxiety, maybe they have intrusive thoughts, maybe they have depression, maybe they're having psychosis, and so kind of the choosing of the thoughts may not quite be as available.
Right, totally.
But I always, I think this is such a nuanced place.
Yeah.
Because it's that place where there's something around recognizing the systems which can impact us, and the oppression that they perpetrate on us and how hard that is. And actually, I'm really with at the moment how hard that recognition is, because that's tough. I often work with people where there's the idea that if we locate the problem within ourselves, then we feel maybe empowered, in inverted commas, that we have the hope of one day fixing ourselves. I'm just going to pause and plug my battery in, because interestingly it's not plugged in, which makes me think about resourcing within this conversation. But I guess I always think, yes, about say somebody was very small and they got told that something painful happened to them, then maybe that human has the ability to think it's my fault, and so therefore I'm going to change something in me, and then the bad thing won't happen again. And it's not their fault, but that thought gives them maybe a feeling of control in a very, very difficult world. Another thought might be, it's not my fault, and I live in a world in which bad things sometimes happen, and I struggle to protect myself against them. And that's a really tough thought. And there's many smaller humans who younger humans and children and infants who really would struggle with that concept. And I think that often the smaller human within us as adults can really, really struggle with that thought. And so when we step outside the systems, I mean, it's terrifying within the systems. When we step outside the systems, when we don't even have the protection of trying to be good anymore, even if the trying to be good is really damaging us. And so I love the idea of the resilience and the resistance, because I think sometimes it's portrayed as either we're asleep or we're awake. I think, gosh, do you know what? It can be very hard to be permanently awake.
Totally.
So there's something. Yeah, I guess that's what I am. How does that land with you?
Well, I'm really excited I'm grateful that you pointed out, the ableism that was inherent in what I was saying around choosing your thoughts. And I think that's the kind of nuanced conversation that I want about, like, agency and surrender. It feels like is what you're talking about, somewhat, of holding, like, okay, what's a moment, what's a place where I can, I don't know, I don't really like the word control, but like I can choose. I can have choice. So looking at where that is, maybe it's not with thoughts, maybe it's with, asking for support in a particular kind of way, or choosing how you're going to relate to your thoughts. I don't think we can change our thoughts completely. And that's actually, side note, one of my biggest pet peeves about how people perceive meditation, of like, I'm just going to sit and then like have no thoughts. That's totally, meditation informs a lot of my practice and my work. And it's about changing your relationship to the thoughts rather than necessarily always changing the thoughts themselves, because they're going to keep running. And like some of those are very deeply embedded. And so I think community can be really key to that softening. That's the word that's been coming up for me lately around the struggle and the all the different thoughts that are coming up. It's like, how can we be with ourselves with those thoughts that are intrusive or repetitive, or we don't want those thoughts, and then we start to think that those thoughts are us, and those thoughts are not you. Okay, I've gone in a lot of different directions.
I think that's good. I mean, and I think what you brought up, meditation, is really key, because I think there's a microcosm in there that we're told to kind of not think, but actually that's a synonym for how we're supposed to kind of be in the world. We're trying to stop something that's a very natural biological part. Our brain is going to keep having thoughts, and then when we have thoughts, we feel like we failed. Mm-hmm. And then of course that's another thing we failed at, and everything just kind of starts to add up. And I love on your website you say that you believe we need to heal as individuals and collectively from the ways our past and systems of oppression have hurt us, and that you believe our bodies are worthy of love and respect, that we're not broken for having shame about ourselves or our bodies, that it's not our fault, it's possible to heal, and that we can do it together. And so this so resonates with all of my own.
I love hearing those again. I wrote those like ages ago. I'm like, yeah, I really do believe those things.
They do, don't they? They really resonate. And this is how kind of I came more towards your work, is resonating with these practices and resisting the sources that tell us that our pain is our fault, or that we shouldn't be feeling disempowered or dissociated or disembodied. Right. And these are very uncomfortable, painful, terrible, difficult responses for us to live, but I believe that they're natural responses to what we've survived in this very difficult world, or in a society that perpetrates these assaults upon people who are othered or marginalised. And so I love that you say that healing happens in community, because so often we're told that healing happens individually by handing our power over to somebody else who's an expert. Right. And that's where I kind of drew towards your work around the experience with Soften. I don't know if you can just say a little bit to introduce Soften to people who haven't come across it.
Yeah, I hosted my first public virtual retreat for Queer Body Love about a month ago that Grace came to. And that word, I'm just like feeling the energetic impact of Soften. I think it's what a lot of us are needing right now in the world. There's a lot of fear and hardening and wanting control. And I think together we can soften our nervous system, soften the way that we're being with ourselves, and from that place create new possibilities. And the virtual retreat was focused on creating a daily ritual to do for the month of October, with the idea that that can be this microcosm of practicing and being in action around how you're wanting to feel and be with yourself and your body. So it's coming back to that theme of agency and choice and being in action around shifting the way that you're feeling within yourself.
And it was fantastic. I really, really appreciated how, how much underpinning structures were in the space. It supported everything. And I was actually, my practice, and for those who've read my book, Beyond the Boundaries, Finding Freedom and Fulfillment Within Four Walls, Self-Care Edition, will know about this from the chapter on morning rituals and practices, that I, kind of historically tended to kind of pick up or create a practice or adapt it to myself and kind of go, right, I'm going to relax as hard as I can, and I'm going to be the best at relaxing, and I'm going to every day to heal.
How exhausting.
So I loved that Soften was softening, and I also loved the practice of doing it for just 1 month. That was a revelation to me.
How was your practice for the month?
Amazing. Really, really, really. It had more impact than I would have anticipated, which was very interesting, because many of people watching or listening or reading along may probably resonate with the idea of when we buy into things which promise kind of the world, and there's loads of extras, and you get an extra free thing if you buy today.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's a lot of stuff coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I believe often they do something,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't generally make us, I don't know, slim, cellulite free with long flowing hair, making six figures in our beach house. I don't know, with whatever other the new thing is that I haven't followed,
Yeah, totally.
So, but there could be this little feeling of failure and this little feeling of, oh, but the person who made it is living like that, so I must not be very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So what did you think the impact would be, and what has the impact been?
I think that I anticipated the impact would be more around queerness and embodiment kind of coming together, which
Mm-hmm.
it was that, but also much more around my own body experience. So I was working by doing a self massage of my belly, which is a part of my body which, because of all the pain and the various diagnoses and impairments I'm living with, has historically been a place of a lot of physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was very interested in how the practice shifted my relationship to my body in that month,
Mm-hmm.
in a very beautiful, beautiful sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, just as we close, kind of on that note, because I kind of took this very, the practice took like 5 minutes, which is like I think what you said. So and it was something so kind of small but so powerful. And so I wondered, is there anything a listener or reader or watching person can do now to begin to take our conversation into action and begin to explore or incorporate queer body love into their lives? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I also want to say that I believe the practice for you was powerful because of the intention and the community and the frame around it. That
Mm.
often, like there's a lot of prep work that we can do for actions to then, like it's not actually about the actions itself, I think, is maybe what I'm trying to say. Like I could have told you via email or something, like you could have received an email from me that was like, okay, I think you should do 5 minutes of body massage a day for the next month, and you'd be like, yeah, maybe. And then like maybe you do it for a few days, or maybe you do it every day, but like there wouldn't be the personal intention behind it. And so I think that's why often I struggle with thinking of like the one action, because I think that everybody is so different, and I think you actually already know. So my invitation would be to think of what is the most joyful and smallest thing that you want to do to develop a more loving connection with yourself. One of my speakers in my speaker series, Sam Dillon Finch, talked about loving gestures towards our body. So even when we're not feeling loving towards it, what's something loving towards it that you can do, and not needing to make it a huge big thing, and the thing that's going to change your life, but being open to the possibility that it might. So one of the things that you just said of like containing something for a month, I think that can be really helpful, and approaching it like an experiment. So from noticing the time that, sorry, got distracted. So action, intention, experiment. I think those are maybe three of the components. So having your intention for how are you wanting to feel and be in relation to your body? Like what does queer body love mean to you? Is queerness important? Maybe queerness isn't important. Maybe it is important. What does body love mean to you? And then choosing an action that feels easeful and joyful for you specifically. And 3, having it be an experiment that has some sort of containment or structure, so that you're not feeling like you have to be doing this for the rest of your life, and it makes it a little bit more manageable. And I think approaching everything in life like an experiment can be really helpful, because it creates a sense of, it can create, if this is your relationship with experimentation, a sense of openness and curiosity. I'm trying this. I wonder what will happen. A bit of humility, as opposed to thinking that some other expert or even yourself will know what the effects will be. We never quite know. We never can quite control. So trying it on for a specific amount of time. So say the next week. So you're like, okay, for example, I actually really love showers, and I've noticed that I haven't been taking them as much as I want, or here's a one that comes from a lot of body love sort of people is feeling the water on your skin, like just focusing on one time of the day or one action where you're going to actually feel your body when it feels pleasurable. So that would be an example of, okay, I want to feel more loving connection with my body. That's my intention. I'm going to choose this action of showering every day as opposed to every other day, maybe short showers to save water. And I'm going to intend to feel the water on my skin and orient towards pleasure. And I'm going to try that for 1 week, and I'm going to see whether that's what I want to keep doing, how that impacts me, how it doesn't impact me, and then continue to adjust. And I think it can be so helpful. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how helpful I think it is to be in relationship to other people in some way, shape, or form, whether that's officially like a professional, a coach, a therapist, whether it's your friend, your partner, like somebody online, that there's some sort of shared holding of it, or at least somebody who you can talk to about it. At least for me, that's so helpful, so that you don't feel like you're doing it alone. Because I think so often we do feel like, to reference what you were talking about earlier, we feel like we have to do healing on our own and get to a certain healed place before we can share or be with other people. And we're always all on our own healing journeys. And I think that there's a lot of power in sharing and connecting from that place.
Totally. You know, the more I kind of go on it through life, the more I believe that so much of it is about relationship, and so much of it is about how we accompany each other, you know, on this journey. And I trace it back, you know, to where the kind of individualism in our cultures began, and how you know, painful that has really been, and how we can, you know, address that. Because often people will, you know, struggle to kind of connect and think that they're doing something wrong by needing help. And I'm thinking, gosh, I feel like we all need people. We all need other humans,
totally.
Human animals, non-human animals, and humanists. You know, we all need each other on some level.
100%.
So that's beautiful. Thank you. I really like this kind of small, kindly action. And I'm just going to add, you know, I know for many people, including myself, you know, bathing and showering can be kind of a challenge. So just to kind of give a kind of quite, maybe I'm hoping to transmit a quite visceral or sensational alternative. Sometimes that can be something around like the texture of a blanket or the texture of clothing. And another thing can be around the sound. So, you know, kind of the sound of something, if that's possible, or scent of something that we might notice. And yeah, I really like, so like I have a day bed in my studio, which is where we are now. And so actually, as I look at it, I notice it's got different textures on it. So the kind of, the blankets themselves are kind of, I've got like a kind of a lined texture on them. Then I've also got like a velvet blanket. And then I've also got one that's in like a kind of silky. And so there's all these different
textures. I love that.
Which can be, you know, very, I don't have sensation all over my body. So, you know, there are parts of my body that can't feel those different textures, but there are parts of my body that can. And they're also all different colors, which I really enjoy. They're kind of all levels, difference of purples and blues. I just kind of offer that as a possibility there.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think awakening our senses in whatever one calls you to. It doesn't always have to be physical and feeling, like you're saying, like sight or smell. Or I actually just recorded a little mini meditation yesterday on finding pleasure in sight, and I have a lot of sorts of things like that on my website and Queer Body Love Facebook group if folks are interested in having more guidance and suggestions around those sorts of things.
Fantastic. So I will link all of your fantastic social medias and website and everything. And that's where people can go to find out more about your work.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a lot in the works right now. It's not quite nailed down, but I'm definitely going to do another Soften virtual retreat and group program and meditations. And I have one-on-one coaching practice also where I'm not sure when this will be released, but at least right now I have some openings. So feel free to be in touch, whatever sort of level of support you're interested in.
Fantastic. Now I do have a new ending, which is I have 3 little kind of quick questions, if that's okay to try those.
Sure. Yeah.
So the first one is, what is your favorite book or website right now?
Ooh, right now.
I have to say,
Emergence.
I have to say right now, otherwise we'd be here forever.
Yes, totally.
How can we pick? It's so hard.
Yeah. Emergent strategy is what I've been reading lately, and a lot of people in my circles have also been reading. Do you know that book?
I don't.
Oh, it's amazing.
I will look
I
it up.
have it right there. I feel like I should go grab it and show you. But yeah, it. I don't even know where to start, but multiple people have read it and been like, wow, I feel like this is you, Elizabeth. I feel like this is your voice. So it just super resonates and is inspiring around the way that I'm wanting to approach my work and my life.
Fantastic. I will check it out. And I'm sure other people will too. Who is the most, the historical person who's inspiring you most at the moment?
It's actually something I've been thinking about lately, of really wanting to learn more about historical figures and read memoirs and get more in depth, because I feel like I have been influenced by people and I don't know their full stories, like Bell Hooks, Audre Lorde, Adrienne Rich. Audre Lorde's writing has definitely been, I think, most inspiring me lately. But I'm realizing as I was writing an Instagram post yesterday, I was like, I don't know enough about this person, actually. Like, I feel so inspired by their words and their thinking, but I don't know that much about her. So I'm excited to be on that like orientation right now, of just learning more about history of people who have really paved the way for the ideas and the types of spaces that I want to be in and be part of creating.
Yes, so fantastic. And who should we be following at the moment online that we may not be already?
Oh my God, so many people. I mean, basically everybody who's been in my 2 speaker series. So that's 45 people.
Okay, that's fine. I can link to your speaker series, and we can all go and follow those people.
Yeah, there's 15 from this last year, and 15 queer and trans, or wait, 15 or 14? 14. 14 queer and trans leaders, and they're really awesome. And that's actually something I'm wanting to develop more on my website too, is resources to other amazing people, because there's a lot of them. But yeah, the speaker series would be a great place to start.
Fantastic. Well, thank you ever so much for your generosity and sharing your time and your thoughts and your energy and your magic and healing with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. And thank you everybody who's watched, listened, read and joined us. I really, really appreciate your time and you choosing to spend it here with us. I will be back soon with more Trailblazer interviews. In the meantime, you should be able to comment below in the post and let us know if you have any questions. And we are sending you lots and lots of love, good things, and thank you for being you, and keep trailblazing. Bye-bye.
Bye.